don't. You can't. You
I
can't.
did. It's too
Oh
late.
my God.
It's too late. We're already live with an
They're gonna.
excellent connection, according to this
People are gonna
dashboard.
want this all the time now. We're just gonna have to sit here and just not do anything for a
Look,
few
we
minutes.
already give them almost every Wednesday, and now we're going to
Every- It's true.
expect 10 o'clock.
I know. Can't do that. Oh, I've got a URL. I can fix this now. Oh,
I got to attach to Merc. You know what I'm saying? Not Merc
do.
in, but just Merc.
Alright. I know what you're doing.
Yeah, we got to do a little Merc video there, Josh.
I know.
Why don't you
We
mark
got
it?
to. I've got to get my. I'm so far behind in everything. I think I'm ahead, but you've heard that before.
You've just come
I'll be
back
saying
around
it
behind
soon.
yourself. Uh-oh.
Head is always the
Wait,
answer.
what? Based on pages you've interacted with, you might like alpha male style group. No, I've never interacted with any pages, anything close to that. Come on, man.
It's all that Josh.
I don't
Tech
want to have a
visits you
pick
would
of the
do.
week. I don't have anything to pick. It's a week, and I'm
got
weak on the picks.
All right.
Done. I've carried Sebastian's picks for
Yes.
too long.
Wait, so
Oh, that
means
is
I have to pick
totally
something
true.
this week?
What?
Hey,
Why does
hey,
why does it say chat is
It-
disabled?
I don't know.
It does indeed.
But I'm seeing live chat.
Well, let me try
So
this
it's
again.
just on the site.
All right, hang on.
See, Dan Wally just
Okay,
waved.
okay.
You know
Hard
the chat's
refresh
working.
and not on VMix.
No, wait. It's probably something stupid. Hang on.
Okay.
Well, it's YouTube chat, so I mean, no comment.
Well, let's.
Get it? No
let's-
comment?
let's-
Because it's...
that's funny. Okay, there's there. Oh, there it is. Okay,
Hello, Adam.
lied.
Give me GPUs, you hoarders. Look, I don't even want to
You're
advertise
calling
that
a
we
hoarder.
have a GPU. It makes me feel guilty at this point. All
We've
future
talked about
builds will be
this.
using like retro hardware just to avoid looking like a dick.
Now, in all seriousness, the demo for the motherboard review that I'm in the middle of doing, I'm actually going to put in a one you can buy.
Like a 970. I hear that's really hot again.
No, one that's available on the shelf. I'm talking like 1030 kind of thing.
Ooh, okay. Oh,
I always wondered what they were for. Now I know.
Yep. GT710. I might go grab
Seriously,
that.
if I had that buy one graphics card, I'd probably use it in everything.
Oh, I'm definitely using it. Oh yeah,
It's buy one.
it's by one. I'm wringing every bit of performance out of it with this monochrome display.
Okay.
I think I fixed it.
Very good.
You did.
Let's start recording. Recording is happening. Okay, X618. It is the 3rd. All right, you guys ready?
As soon as I get some show notes. Oh, there they are.
Everybody study up on Josh. Can you speak about the 6700 XT?
A little bit.
Okay. I'll give that one to you. Not that I know more than I've written or anything. All right. In 3, 2. Hey people, welcome back. No, I don't like that. Hey everybody,
Hey,
welcome.
all you party people,
Yeah.
put your hands in the air.
Whoop.
Put your hands in the air, everyone. It's the PC Perspective Podcast. Hey, everyone. It's Bob and David. All right, let's start over.
Bob and
All
Doug.
right. Yes, those were just forget about that. None of that happened. None of that. It's Bob and Doug.
Oh, don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, this episode of The Full Nerd.
You need a beer, eh?
I got a beer.
Yo, eh?
Nope.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the PC Perspective Podcast. This is episode 618 being recorded on March 3rd, 2021. I'm Sebastian Peak.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom, eh?
I'm Josh Walrath.
I'm Brett Van Sprurenberg, not A.
You can subscribe to find out when we go live. for events like this podcast recording session by going to pcper.com/subscribe and joining our exciting mailing list. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/PCper, right? It's just PCper.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
PCPER, and give us money so that we can
Yes.
keep doing this.
The
Do
weird
we
thing
have
is
any
nobody
patrons?
else wanted that name. I mean, we got it.
Isn't that yeah. I mean,
It was clever.
we're blessed. Any new patrons?
You know, there is. Today's new patron is just known as Steve.
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 Hey,
I mean,
Steve.
He'll know who he is. It's Steve. And thank you very much,
Yes,
Steve.
thank you,
And
Steve.
if anybody else logs into Patreon while we're on the air and wants to change their name to something, I'll get an email and I can read it out loud.
Yeah.
If
He
it's
gets
But
a
not
Steve's taken.
too bad.
Sorry.
Yeah, don't say
Steve.
Steve.
Hey.
Steve, though.
Steve.
Steve would be redundant. Don't do Steve.
Yes.
Not Steve.
Hey,
It could be not Steve.
let's glide right in. I was worried earlier today. I didn't see any updates from Josh. Lunchtime came and went, and then I realized Josh is like 2 hours behind. Josh, did you end up having a burger
Yes.
this week? Okay, let's go to Josh.
Yeah, it's let me get this this one is called the Honey Maker. And you think, why does honey belong on a burger? And then you think a little further and you're like, you know what? If you put a little honey and some dates on top of 2 twin patties, 4 ounce, and then you cover that with some feta cheese and some caramelized onions, you've got a balancing act there between sweet and sour and acid that somehow works to accentuate the meat flavor of the twin patties. It just melts in your mouth. There's a certain crispness also to the dates and the way that they actually cook the burgers. It may not be for everyone. Some people are not fond of dates, like Jeremy.
Hey, you're making me hungry, man.
Oh, but anyway,
And I'm already
I was
full.
talking about the other dates. But
Well,
anyway,
Oh, yeah. He'll
I drew
but
on
no,
never
my-
date you
it's,
again. He'll never date
it
you
all-
again is what he's saying.
yeah, but it all worked together into a nice half pound of burger that fits into your hands and is consumed way too quickly. And the fries were on point. As you can see, one was cracked in half, and you can see the soft, fluffy inside and the crispy, well seasoned outside. I mean, it was a good lunch, and I'm not going to again eat anything for the next 24 hours, and I'm happy about it, and I'm happy.
That was getting almost too graphic, but in a good way.
Right. And if you don't put a musical accompaniment to this, I'm going to be
I know I missed
disappointed.
out on that opportunity last week, and it's not going to happen again, unless it does. Unless I just
Right.
straight
It
up
might.
forget
It could go either way.
again.
Josh, these burgers sound like they're assembled by professionals. That list of ingredients is next tier.
It is unique. I mean, they go out and they really work to find unique combinations that actually work together. And in this case, it did. It was not overly sweet at all, even though it had honey drizzled on it and dates. I mean, the
Dates.
feta and the caramelized onions, they provided that kind of backstop against getting too sweet. And it really accentuated the flavors of all of them. It was quite nice.
Nice.
Honey maker. Not the honey badger, but the honey maker.
No.
Go. Honey
Those
Badger
like
don't
you.
care at all.
Yeah. No. You don't want to put one of those in your mouth.
Nope.
No. Okay, let's move on to the big news story, obviously, of the day. And
I
we
thought we
actually
just covered
had
it.
news happen on a Wednesday, finally. So we didn't have to delay the podcast or anything. So AMD held an event on their YouTube channel and announced we were expecting RX 6700 series. We just got an XT. We didn't get a 6700. But we have a new graphics card. Josh, were you paying attention to this announcement? Do you have any insights for us about what this is?
I was. I mean, it is a new chip. It is a new RDNA chip from AMD, and it is a smaller Big Navi. If that makes any sense, but it's instead of 72, well, actually the Big Navi is a total of 80 compute units in full form, which is the 6900 XT. This is half that. It's at 40, and it's got a 192-bit bus running at 16 gigabit, giving, I can't remember how many gigabytes per second. You'll have to figure that out on the
360.
side. 360 gigabyte per second, but 12 gigs of it. So they've got an advantage over, some of the previous older versions like a 2080 Ti, which is 8 gigs, and 2070 and a 2060 Super. This was introduced at $479. Though, of course, there is much debate on how much AMD can actually provide to their partners and to end users, because you can buy these directly from AMD.com in the near future, supposedly. We're leaving that one up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Hands, hair,
Yeah.
we don't know.
Yeah. Availability.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be rare to find because there's such a huge demand. Market forces are extremely strong, and when you've got Bitcoin mining, you're going to be fighting against everybody to get one of these gamers.
But Josh, they're doing
resellers.
drops, man. They're doing
What?
drops. They're doing drops. That's what they called it.
Drops.
AMD, like every week, they're going to be releasing first-party
The
cards
AMD
on their
loot
site.
box.
Yeah, essentially,
Oh, I
like
see.
AMD loot box. Every week, they're going to do a drop of availability so that people can have a chance. They aren't going to just load it all at once. But they are releasing all the third parties as well. All of their add-in board partners are
Yeah,
on
March
them at the
18th.
same time.
We're going to see if that actually works out. Total board power, 230 watts. This thing goes up, game clock, 2.424 gigahertz.
Isn't that nuts?
That's nuts. That's awesome, but it's nuts. And performance is looks like it's above a 2080 Ti, but it drops. Well, not 20. Was it 2080 or the 2080 Super? Is what they.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
Yep.
was one slide. It's not here, but there was one slide
Yeah.
that showed it against a 2080 Super. And
Yeah, but,
this one
2080
is 3060
Super-
Ti 3070.
Yeah, and the 3060 Ti and 3070. So it looks like it really is about on par with the 3070, but it's got 4 gigs more of memory, which is kind of a big deal. Especially in a lot of these new games, like I think what is it, Resident Evil Village, is going to require more than 10 gigs. There are current other games like Red Dead Redemption 2 is 9.5 gigs, and so you're going to have a little bit of an advantage in some of these things, as well as long as you're not relying on ray tracing from DXR. It's going to have the raster power to compete with the 3060 Ti and the 3070. I don't think it's going to quite get close enough to the 3080, but still, it's for $479. It actually kind of moves the needle a little bit. I mean, because we were talking last week, 3060, not that much faster than a 3060 Super. And yeah, $329 is not a horrible price, but it's you get 10% more from a previous gen product that you may have in your machine and you bought for between $320 and $400. And so that's not an upgrade. But this, it is an upgrade. It's an upgrade from a 5700 XT. It's an upgrade from a 2080 Super. It's like I said, 40 compute units and how many I don't see how many stream units, but
Maybe 2560.
they're
I
up there.
think.
2560, one for every scan line.
60. Nice. Boost clock up to 2.6 gigahertz almost, and I imagine some of these third-party cards that have better VRMs and cooling and whatnot, be hitting up to 2.6, 2.7 gigahertz. I mean, that's just nuts for a GPU. That's something we haven't seen in a while. We've seen, bumps and bumps and bumps, and then bang, with this generation, it just kind of blew the lid off of it, and it provides a tremendous amount of performance. But again, 230 watts is not nothing. But compared to 300 plus with a 6900 XT, it's a better mid-range card. And I kind of choke saying mid-range because mid-range previously was 200 to 350. I mean, this is certainly the lower end of the high end, but considering where prices have gone and what these manufacturers have been doing, you still get some good performance for the price, historically speaking. And when you compare it to, the 3060 Ti, 3070, and even the 3080, because it's, $250 less than what you can get one of those if you can get it MSRP, then,
Right.
It's all positive stuff.
Well, they're aiming this right at high refresh 1440 gaming.
Which is interesting.
Based. Yeah.
They didn't talk about 4K at all in the presentation.
No, but
You
I mean,
think
their
with-
high-end cards didn't really turn out to be super 4K beasts. I mean, you saw that in some of your testing
Yeah,
either.
I
So they
kinda
kind of backed
wondered
away
if-
from that.
I kind of wondered if it had anything to do with the Infinity cache. And what's interesting is that this card has less because it's kind of a cut down. I mean, it has fewer CUs. It's 192-bit. It also only has 96 megabytes instead of 128 megabytes of this cache.
Of Infinity Cache. Mhm.
And I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it, but they didn't show any slides. They said basically this is a 1440p, like your ultimate gaming card. They didn't. And you'd think with 12 gigabytes of memory, that's you don't really need that much memory unless you're playing at 4K. But obviously there are instances where 1440, high res textures can exceed 8 gigabytes.
Right.
So.
There's a certain vocal crowd out there that'll just yell and scream future-proof, get your fat textures ready to go and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if they can do it affordably, they've been known to pump their cards a little bit. Plus, it gives them something to brag about at that level of the graphics card tier.
Yeah, and certainly, with less Infinity Cache and, much smaller memory bandwidth, I mean, you're going to struggle at 4K. And so, why even accentuate that? And especially as, they did mention, and it's worth repeating, 1440p monitors are, some of the best sellers out there. 27-inch 1440 is kind of like the sweet spot for a lot of people. You can get good products in between $230 and $350, and a lot of people can actually afford that.
Right.
It'd be nice to get some, more government money in and get more monitors. But yeah, that's where a lot of the people who, are saving up for, gaming monitors and gaming rigs, that's really the sweet spot because they get, usually a pretty good VA or IPS panel, 120 to, 250 hertz performance out of that kind of range. It's a good buy for them. I've got a downstairs on one of the test machines. I've got a 144 hertz, 27-inch 1440p, and it's a pleasure to game on. It just is a good-looking monitor. It was not when I purchased it. It was 9 months ago. It was $275. It was cheap for what you get. So, I've been happy with that, and it's good for a testing machine and. Just do some basic gaming on. It's just everything is right there, and if they're aiming this at that, it's a good thing. And they're lowering the price point down to $479, which for a next generation card that actually improves upon previous generation performance, unlike the 3060, it's a compelling buy when you kind of view it in that angle. And they were smart to really kind of hit upon that. Instead of just saying, well, this will do 4K. It's like, no, this is premium for 1440p and high refresh monitors that are almost ubiquitous. You go onto Newegg and those are the ones that are on sale for, you know, 20 or 30 bucks below MSRP, and they're everywhere and they're good. And an upgrade for a lot of people.
That extra overhead isn't going to go to waste for people who are investing in a widescreen either. Those extra pixels aren't free. So, you know, it may seem like, oh, that's a, you know, a lot of card for only 1440p or 1080p. Believe me, there's a lot of people out there who would like to combine a modestly priced GPU with a widescreen, because widescreens are getting a lot less expensive. I just saw that ultra wide. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, and ultra wide, like you know, 3440 or something along those lines at 3440, 1440 or equivalent. 2K plus, but not quite 4K.
But let's be honest. All this talk about its value and whether it's a good buy or not, it's irrelevant because it won't be available in any quantity. Think about this. They said nothing about intentionally reducing Ethereum hash rate like NVIDIA did with the 3060.
They did not.
This is a card that will have whatever price the market will bear based on its hash rate. And that's just the sad reality of living in a world where Bitcoin is $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
Ethereum
guess it
is
dropped
what,
a lot today.
1600?
Yeah, because I know you're not actually mining Bitcoin on a graphics card. You're mining those on ASICs, and it's out of the realm of any consumer who just wants to mine on a graphics card. But Ethereum mining is obviously where a lot of these GPUs end up. If you look at the farms of just piles and piles of cards. So that, unfortunately, is, I think, going to make a big difference in availability for this card. 12 gigs of memory at that point. That's good. 12 gigs of 16 gigabit per second memory. So it's depressing. I don't think the 3060 is going to be available either, really. I mean, is it? I have not seen it available.
Newegg's got it on shuffle.
Oh, it's on the
I was
shuffle.
able to get one.
That's right.
I got lucky.
Now, I'm sure the 6700 XT will end up on the shuffle too.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully there'll be at least one SKU at 479. So at that point, you're deciding between 329 and 479. Do they have any other GPUs on the shuffle that you see? Do they have like 3060 Ti's or 3070s?
Yeah, they actually today they had 3060 Ti and 3070s.
Wow.
And a 6800 and 6800 XT. Except the prices on those were nuts. 6800 for 900 and some odd bucks, and then the 6800 XT for almost 1200, I think.
That is crazy,
Almost
Todd.
Canadian prices.
Yeah, and that's, you know, direct from Newegg, not just like Newegg seller. So I have no idea what the hell's going on with AMD and their graphics card, and neither does my cat, whose tail just.
I wonder if the cat was there because I
walked
heard this
across the
ticking
stream.
sound. Like, I bet that's Josh's cat.
It
I
is
heard
the
that
cat.
sound.
Yeah.
So if you hear that on the audio, podcast listeners, it is Josh's cat making its presence
Walking
known.
in front. Yeah, she likes to bat at my fingers when they're on the keyboard, and she
As
still has
usual.
front claws. So that's pleasant in the extreme.
Any more
I mean,
discussion
you know,
about this?
1960s Eartha Kitt, wouldn't mind. 21 Kitty,
Yeah.
not so.
In their presentation, did they talk about their Fidelity FX at all? Super resolution or any other software
No, they
enhancement
did
type stuff?
not.
Just talked about it being upcoming, like upcoming, I think 40 titles with support, or I don't remember exactly the number.
That was
I'd have to go
DXR
back and watch
stuff.
the video. Was it
They didn't
DXR?
talk
Okay.
about. They didn't talk about the super scaling type things like DLSS competitor.
Okay.
Not at all. I don't think that's anywhere close to being ready. And that is certainly an area that NVIDIA still has a tremendous amount of advantages, especially when you're starting to deal with ray tracing and DXR.
Okay. Well, we'll have more to
You got
talk
options.
about
You're
soon,
lucky.
I'm sure.
Hopefully, we'll get one to review and see where it really positions itself.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because obviously the games that AMD showcased, it's a pretty good mix. I think we're going to find there are strengths and weaknesses, but it's I think the value part of the argument is out the window. At this point, we're just looking at performance. So performance and availability. Who cares how much it costs? You would pay $500 for a 3060 Ti if it was available, and you needed a graphics card at that price level, even though you should be getting a 3070 for that price. And same with like a 60. Most people would have to pay 6800 XT pricing just to get a 6800, if not more, and that's been the case since launch. So it's the weirdest time to cover hardware. I think everybody's saying the same thing at this point. It's like bizarre.
It's not so much fun anymore.
The joy is being sucked out of it. I was pricing out a Dell system today, just last resort. Like, well, where can you buy these graphics cards? Dell systems of $1,000 at this point. I was looking at XPS for $1,000. Somebody in Discord was talking about a YouTube video. Somebody had a Dell XPS thing with a 3070. $1,000 XPS system just has the Intel 630 processor graphics. You move up to about the $1,500 price range, you get a 1650. The only pre-configured system with a 3070 was $2799.
That's nuts.
So
at least
either.
if you go on Newegg, at least there are ABS systems that are usually available. For $1,500, you'll get a reasonable processor and a 3070. So, yeah, it's
good.
the only way to really get a hold of these next generation parts without, getting lucky on the Newegg shuffle is to buy a full system. And a friend of mine who is piecing together a system starting in August of last year, I mean, he still has not gotten an upgraded video card because, he just figures he wanted to build his own. He knew new stuff was upcoming, and he thought he'd just piece it together. And, the amount of time that he's waited and the amount of money he has spent, he might as well just have waited even longer and gotten a pre-configured system, in January, February, that would have at least gotten him a next generation video card.
Then you lose the thrill of the hunt.
I know, but
especially the frustration
patience.
of missing and missing and missing.
it's like trying to buy a console. If I wanted a PS5 right now, and I've had this is weird, I've had the green light from my wife since before Christmas to just buy one if I can find one.
Oh,
And I'm a kind of a PlayStation fanboy, and I barely have any need for it. But I'm like, well, I can. She said yes, I have to do it. But I
think
can't
these
find
two
one
things are
anywhere.
related.
What two?
Yes, you're allowed to buy one as long as they're not available.
oh, and
Well, yes,
It's not
I know.
here.
She's smart enough to exactly
Weird.
that, yes.
But you know what? Oddly enough, I got an Xbox Series X as well in
Yeah, you did.
just at random in November. I didn't understand how that worked, and if I was smart, I should have just resold it. But I'm not smart because I like technology and I like to be able to use it.
No, it just makes you a good person because resellers are evil,
Something like that.
as we
Yeah,
know.
they are.
they are
Scalpers.
evil. Yeah.
All right, well,
What else we got here?
let's move on. To the
But
next
anyway,
topic
it's
of
a
the-
7 nanometer chip, and supposedly with Apple going to 5 nanometer, it's opening up a little bit of wafer space. However, the auto people need more chips, and everybody else wants 7 nanometer chips, and who in the hell knows where AMD is at because they're trying to sell as many CPUs as possible because they're damn fly, get away. Because their next generation EPYC processors are right around the corner. And they need even more chips for that because these things have 6, 12, 13 chips under the heat spreader at minimum. Big I/O and 12 chiplets. That's a lot of nuts.
Yes. Hey, speaking of a lot of chips
Speaking
under
of
the hood.
and nuts.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't epic, but it is pretty epic
It's-
if you think about it.
It's sort of epic, but it's not with a Y. But
Yeah. Ryzen Threadripper Pro, we talked about these last summer. It was OEM only, and it was originally the partner was Lenovo. They had this one system originally that had Threadripper Pro in it. But anyway, I got an email from Newegg talking about availability of this and threw this article up the other morning. since this went up, they've actually added the box art for all of these processors. The prices are the same, and it starts off with the 3955WX, which is the 16 core at $1149.99. Then you go up to the 32 core, $2749.99, and the 64 core 3995WX is $5,489.99.
Remember when we were screaming and yelling about how desktop processors were $1,000?
Yep.
Yeah,
But these are
I mean, this is the
oh, they
bastard
are. I mean,
child of a desktop processor and a workstation, but still.
these people who are doing 3D visualization and all of that, it is worth every penny for them, because that many threads doing the things that they want as fast as they do. Though the base clock at 2.7 gigahertz for that biggest one it's a little hard to swallow, but you know, the 16
But it's 64 cores at 2.7
I know.
gigahertz.
It's nuts. It's nuts. But you know, what's interesting about the 16 core one? Yeah, you can get a 5950 for much less. But
Can you?
the big thing is, well, you can
Less than
actually.
$5,000.
I don't see the
Yeah.
5950
Well,
on the
no,
shuffle.
the $1,100 one is the one I'm talking about.
Oh,
But what you get from that is a buttload of PCIe 4.0 lanes. I mean,
yeah.
what, 128?
Let me look
He's
here.
looking. He's looking.
Well,
He's looking.
I'm not sure.
Pretty sure.
You can go ahead and look that up. I'm on Newegg shopping right now for my next Threadripper Pro.
Oh, well, shop away.
Let's see.
But
Are
yeah,
there any
there's-
boards
there's-
available yet that support this? I know Asus was showcasing one on social media, I thought.
looks like 128 lanes, Josh.
Yeah. Yeah, so when, you know, just think if they ever got their crap together and, you know, did
I'm sorry, that's 128 lanes of
raid.
PCIe 4, by the way.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
It's 4.0.
Just- How many M.2 slots does that support? It supports a lot.
How many do you want?
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah, you get them all. So, yeah, there's some positive things, and we've got components and peripherals that, you know, in terms of individual RAID cards, that will actually utilize that. So you've got the professional SSDs that are PCI 4.0 that, you know, people
Right.
like you and I can't even dream of, because they're thousands and thousands of dollars that they'll soak that up and they'll be happy about
Yep.
it.
8-channel mode on the RAM as well.
Yep.
280 watt TDP on these chips.
Which is honestly lower than I thought it would be.
Look at this.
To be perfectly
image from
honest.
Oh my gosh.
Video cards. Look at all the power connectors on this thing. They're all
Holy
over the place.
shnikes.
Oh wow! I didn't even see the ones in the upper right-hand corner
Yeah.
at first.
I was originally looking at this Gigabyte board. I'm like, oh, this
And
is
it's
one
not
of the
double
wait,
boards,
wait.
but-
Go back.
There's
Go back
two.
to that one.
There's two 24
There's
pins on the
24
edge.
pin.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
there's two
noticed
24s. This is a dual PCU,
And look, dual U.2.
Holy-
dual PSU.
Oh yeah, that's legit.
Wow.
But get the
That's real.
OWC that fails over, and then you can have 4.
See, this one.
You know,
this one looks
Sebastian, you know-
much more reasonable.
It is.
I mean, look, it only takes one PSU.
It is. Yeah.
Interesting
one
layout.
PSU and three 8-pin CPU.
Huh.
You know what they say? Happily, excess is never enough. And Jeremy knows what I'm talking about.
I do indeed. But I've never tried it with 2 PSUs at once.
No, that
Yes.
seems actually
That's just
excessive.
inappropriate. Yeah, two PSUs
Yeah.
at the same time.
It's dirty.
Oh, it's dirty. Oh, it's dirty power.
Dirty.
Power.
It is.
Hey, speaking of dirty power. No, not really.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to find a
Well-
segue here that works, and I don't have one. As I copy and paste URLs.
Rapidly.
Intel.
Talking about dirty QLC.
Ooh, yeah.
Let's
Intel.
model up that whole flash.
Yeah, there's something there.
Is this an upgrade to anything?
Yeah, it's an
I'm
upgrade
really
to 660p.
honestly curious.
Think about it.
They have a higher wear limit.
Okay, let's
Anyway,
start
go
this
ahead.
story.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
here we go.
Yeah. All right.
Intel has introduced another consumer SSD. No, they're not out of the business. They're
Yet.
back
But
with
they
a
sold it.
vengeance.
But how?
I don't know. I guess it's a.
They're literally repurposing Alan's old SSDs.
who
This
knows,
is where the
maybe.
flash is coming
Just from his personal collection.
Yes.
It's like, Alan, can we
We
have
should
a few
invite him on.
100,000 of those to
Yeah.
sell?
We should invite him on to just explain this. How can
Yeah.
this be?
Well, they're using a Silicon Motion controller with their own kind of custom firmware. They like to tailor the experience to low Q depths, like QD1, QD2. So it's going to be probably very good
You
performance.
mean realistic
Yeah,
computing?
real world. It's all about real world.
Yeah.
Real world. But
Real
comparing this to like the 660p, for example, which is what they were doing, look at the sequentials on this. It's rated for 3,500 megabytes per second, reads 2,700 writes. But this is a Gen 3 drive. That's pretty close to the max there on reads. That's sequential, of course. Random 4K random IOPS up to 310,000 IOPS reads, 340,000 writes. So it's not a world
Offer does
beater,
not apply
but
after SLC cache is full.
well, yeah, that's the other thing. It's got a certain
Yeah, no,
amount.
it really, for that performance, it really seems expensive. Now,
Yes.
Yes.
it's
Yeah, I agree.
fuels-
Yes.
They've got the SLC, but I mean, you look at like that Mushkin one I linked the other day for $189, 2 terabytes, so double the speed, double the size, similar specs, similar IOPS, using the last generation Phison controller, and TLC flash. And it just, I guess the only advantage that this really has is the wear cycles.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
That's right.
significant wear cycles, but you're paying double almost. Well, not quite double, but
Yeah, look at
for
the pricing.
I
$159.
thought it was
half
close to
again.
30 to
These
40% over.
Prices. This is a
Yeah.
screen grab from Newegg from the other
Yeah.
day, but these prices include pretty hefty discounts of between 16 and 24%.
Oh well, that's better.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, still, we're talking 1 terabyte for
Doesn't that help?
130, and this is a QLC drive. When
yeah, and
the
you can get
660
TLC stuff for 95.
The 660p was really close to. They were blowing them out at 98 a little while ago.
well, yeah, it was consistently close to that 10 cents per gigabyte level.
Yes, it was.
And we all said, "Hey, this was not long after Ryan went to Intel." We're like, "This is the big change." Ryan goes to Intel, Institute Shrout's Law, and now here we are with the 670p at 129 on sale. But hey, it has way better performance than a 660p, at least in theory. I don't have one.
Yep.
I do.
Oh, you have a 670p?
No, 660.
Oh, okay. I don't have either one.
No, it just sits there. I pull games off of it because that's the thing is that it's QLC. It reads just fine. It just doesn't write well. So
yeah,
my save game might take a second longer to copy, but that's it. It
yeah. I've got a 2
doesn't care.
terabyte that on my test machine. That's what I install all the games on because
But I didn't
prices
pay 15
low
cents a
that
gig.
fast.
I have a
Yeah,
660p
and it was,
that I build test rigs with.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
I was
but I mean,
pretty
when you
sure I paid
compare
10
that
or 11
to
cents
the-
a gig.
All right, pause. Way too many collisions. Who wants to go first? Josh.
With that SKA Hynix that everybody's talking about, gold. I can't remember what the one. I mean,
What's it
that's
called?
again, it's the performance on that is fantastic, and the price is even better. So it's, I in our little channel, I was like, what's going on with Intel? Why is this so expensive? But at least when you do get to retail, there are significant savings. So you can't argue with progress because this is progress. They've got the 3 layers of 48 layers a piece. I can't remember why they do that, just for manufacturing ease. And it's 128 layers, I think.
Don't know if they specified.
Yeah, I can't remember, but anyway, 144. Yeah, 144, I think.
Explain to me, is
Anyway.
185 terabytes written for every 512 gigs good? I mean, it sounds a little bit higher than what we've seen from QLC in the past.
For QLC, yeah.
Okay. So,
144 layers, Josh.
Yeah, 144.
So
Not
not
120.
96, but the 144.
Yeah, 144 is about the highest that Samsung got to that. I don't think they've gotten their 196 stuff out yet.
I thought they did.
I could be misremembering.
yeah, I thought the 980 Pro, I want to say, was 96.
Yeah.
But that's TLC, even though it's being called 3-bit MLC.
Yeah.
I think QLC, unfortunately, is the
It's
future.
not out yet.
There's going to be more and more QLC drives with a big cache, and TLCs become MLC.
That's what it is.
Personally.
But anyway, it's good that they're still pushing out some new stuff, and again, the write cycles on this as compared to other QLC drives like the the Sabrent something Q, I can't remember, their PCIe 4.0 with QLC, which is faster than this one, but you don't get
is
the
it
the write
faster in those
cycles.
low Q depths?
Probably not.
I mean, Alan is over
real
there.
world.
You'd think if they got any input from the Maestro,
Yeah,
from Maltavino,
Maltavino.
it's all about those low Q depths, mixed workloads.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see a deeper dive on those two ones really pushed together. I mean, I've seen some basic stuff, and I think the Intel drive overall is a little bit faster in certain corner cases, but the actual total throughput of these PCIe 4.0 QLC ones from that they utilize the lower end Phison controller is still a little bit better. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
We will indeed.
Just buy SK Hynix and be happy. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
run
love-
the Sabrent.
I loved
I like Sabrent.
Sabrent.
Level
Western
1
Digital Blacks.
Wendell
Mhm.
for his SK Hynix review. He called it SK Hynix or SK Hijinks. That was the title of his video. His review. It was funny. Let's pause right here to hear from this week's podcast sponsor.
For a really good night's sleep, try Helix Sleep.
I see on the show notes it says Helix Sleep.
And I meant that.
Hey, I got good sleep for the last 2 days, and so that's why I'm as happy as I am.
And the burger.
That and my wife, her steering went out on her car, and I thought we were going to be on the hook for thousands of dollars to get it repaired. No, it was under a Ford recall from 2014.
Yes.
Nice.
Wow.
The best feeling in the world.
The bad news
Nice.
is I have no idea when the parts are going to get in.
Yeah.
But still, I've been sleeping better because I don't have to pay thousands of dollars to fix a car. Joy.
Hope
Anyway,
there's enough
that's your commercial.
wheels
Good
to go
for you.
around in the Walrath household right now.
If only.
Oh,
Yes.
well.
You're down 2 now, aren't you?
Josh, you can just walk to work. It's fine.
Ski.
I used to be able to, but then they moved the office.
Oh,
And
okay.
I don't have the time.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, wait. So somebody, Sean in the chat says, Josh, how the heck do you get a tip-off when the Newegg Shuffle starts? Mobile app failed today.
Yes, Josh. How?
Okay, so you go to newegg.com/product-shuffle, and you just leave it open on your tabs. And every morning about 9:30 Mountain, you refresh that. And they typically have the new one all ready to go. And you can see what they have. Because I've got the the cell phone app as well, and it doesn't tell you crap. But the only way to do it is around 9:30 to 10 o'clock in the morning Mountain Time. And today was a little bit later. I actually had to see a tweet from Newegg. And let me read off what they had here. It was about 12:30 to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And so you only had about 30 minutes left. to get in on the shuffle. But this is what they had today. They had a RTX 3060, a higher end RTX 3060, a third RTX 3060, a 3060 Ti for $619, a 3070 for $709, another 3070 for $719, and then one of the kind of more ludicrous 3070s for $769, and of course the RX 6800 for the low price of $939, and the 6800 XT for $1,149.99. So, those first 4 or 5 were pretty good. You know, the lower end 3070s is about where you expect it to be, and you've got pretty good performance out of that. A 3060 Ti, it's the first time I've seen a 3060 Ti in a while. But again, at least they had a couple of, not quite 329 3060s, but you got options. And so, yeah, the only way to do that is to go to newegg.com/product-shuffle, check it out every day and late morning, and see if those come up, because you're not going to get announcements, and they often do not quote it on Twitter. But today was a little bit later, so they resent it out on Twitter to say that it was active, because I checked at like 10:30 and there was nothing there. Ignored it, and then just happened to stumble upon that tweet and redid it, and it's like, wow, there's some pretty decent video cards at okay prices, close to MSRP on a couple of them. So
Yeah.
that's how you do it. You got to pay attention, and that's okay, because you've got time. Maybe.
But $600 to $700 for like a Ti or a 3070 seems really... Obviously, 6800's off the table. I mean, unless you want to pay $1,000 for one of those, but...
Yeah, no. That's bad news.
They
Bad schmecking.
mine too well. And I know that apparently this generation was criticized for its mining performance, or, it's not that much better than last gen or something, but it's still high enough.
The 6000? 1600?
6800's
I
not
heard-
a ton higher than the 60 or the 5700, I guess.
Yeah, you really want a Radeon 7.
Or that Vega 56.
He
That's
told me
sweet,
about that.
sweet.
I had to look that up, and it turns out I guess there's
$600
some like BIOS like that you have to. It's not like a hard mod or anything, but you do run like a software mod. I never understood any of that. Like this thing called a pill that you'd use, like I think it was Pascal generation back the last time around when everybody was going nuts, like 2017. The enlargement pill for Pascal at some point came out, and it like changes memory timings and stuff.
Sounds like something you get from your doctor.
I know. It's a world that just feels a little bit dirty to me, so I don't like to delve too deeply into it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Eric Hahn, that I keep telling people about this, but there's only 20 to 30,000 people who listen to the audio MP3 podcast. So
yeah.
you don't have that much competition. I mean, especially the people who watch it on YouTube or live.
Hey,
And I mean, how many of our
Hundreds-
fans can actually type well enough to put all that in?
hundreds
Yeah.
of people watch the live stream, and by hundreds, I
There
mean
are
probably
dozens
200.
of us.
Let's see. Let me look at live stats right now.
Hundreds
Not very
even.
many this week, unless this is off.
More than 2.
Yeah, more than 2. Dozens of people
More than 2.
are for sure watching.
Less than 500.
Hundreds more will watch the video on demand. Hey, light shaking makes hard drives faster, says Jeremy Hellstrom. What on earth does this mean?
I
God,
just
you're going to make me
believe.
try and understand this.
Okay.
Okay, so to start out, hard drives are generally made out of magnetic properties because, well, it's sort of magnetic storage, and you kind of like that to work. But there's a certain class of material which is known as an antiferromagnetic material. Now, you can indeed induce it to become magnetic, but because of the nature of it, it doesn't have a whole overall magnetism. It's just literally tiny little bits of it can be magnetized or demagnetized. And it doesn't affect anything next to it. So you don't get the bleed that you sort of do, which is stopping from platters from becoming so incredibly dense that the 100 gigabyte or the 100 terabyte drive is around the corner. So some researchers out of Delft University in the Netherlands have been working on some esoteric ways of storing stuff on hard drives that just helps increase the capacity, because we still use hard drives, but also increases the speed at which you can write to them. So they screwed around with something called dysprosium orthoferrite, which is, as I mentioned, an antiferromagnetic material. And they discovered that if you zap it with an infrared laser, you can magnetize or demagnetize tiny little portions, depending, of course, on how fine your laser is. And as opposed to it taking around the neighborhood of 5 nanoseconds or so to be able to flip the magnetic from on to off, these guys are doing it in picoseconds. It's like 1,000 times faster. So even if, because of real world, you lose at least 10%. So it's only 100 times faster than the existing hard drives you've got now. Hell, even 10% or 10 times faster is still putting you up in SSD levels, and giving you sort of a much more stable, because again, the magnetics are individual to the little bits of the lattice, the crystal lattice inside this material, so it's not going to decay. It's going to be much more solid and recoverable than your average SSD. Now, this is forever away. Like, you're not going to go out and buy a hard drive with this exotic material and the right head is an actual little infrared laser. But it's lovely to see that they're still working on newer and better hard drive technologies, because there are a lot of us who still depend on hard drive for, if not cold storage, at least moderately warm storage that doesn't need the access speeds that an SSD is going to go. It would be really interesting to see if they could get something, not the absolute best case scenario where it's 1,000 times faster with this crystal lattice vibration, but even 10 times faster, every bit or more stable, and sort of relatively affordable would be lovely to see. So I just saw this and I thought it was rather kind of nifty.
It's one of those science stories that, Jeremy always brings that flavor to the podcast where I'm trying to understand and I don't, it's all completely over my head.
Well, that's because I'm not explaining it properly.
That's why we need to talk about these things, because the word has to get out on this.
Well, we have
know.
to, yes. Not like internally, not like we should prepare or go through show notes beforehand or anything.
Hell no.
Nah,
Absolutely not.
This is the first time anybody's ever seen it.
I have never heard of this before I saw it on the list. So I rely on
I actually read all of these, by the way.
You read all these stories? Why?
You're
Pretty
insane.
much.
Okay.
So Physics World, you can pop over and actually get a link to the paper that they did. And the paper, of course, you're able to access Physics World, and you get 5 free reads a month.
Oh, okay. Academic papers, even.
Yes. It's nifty, and some of the pictures are really sexy if you like pictures of really, really, really tiny things.
Okay, we're going to leave it right there.
I'm kind of attracted to that, but never mind.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that. Aliens Fire Team. A new chance to ruin the franchise? This is another Jeremy Hellstrom story.
Yeah, but he's right with that title.
So, okay, explain this to me.
Well, do you not remember Colonial Marines?
Okay. That's
Sad.
The one with the friendly aliens that you could sort of really just literally walk up to and they wouldn't do anything, because in the scripting somebody misspelled AI, AAI, and so it wasn't calling a lot of the stuff. Not to mention it looked like a garbage game. And of course, I did have to mention Alien Isolation, because that was a really good game, but it's not the same. You're not running around gunning and hoping to hell that there isn't someone behind you or that you missed a chest burster somewhere. Because the old games were as intense as the movies. You started to hear the beep, 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 and you started to freak because you didn't know where the hell it was coming from. They have since ruined this franchise multiple times. So this is a new, at least to me, company called Cold Iron Studios. And they've teased this years ago with absolutely no nothing to back it up. No pictures, no anything. Today they sort of mentioned that here, take a look. Here is our trailer of a third-person cooperative class-based aliens game with skills and customizable weapons. And at some point in there, I've gone back to that's not what I was hoping it would be. Especially the third person.
Who didn't like Gauntlet? This is like
True.
Gauntlet with guns.
True.
Maybe. I don't know.
Except less food.
But that was top down. This is third person. So
Yeah. And a lot of the camera angles make it look. So is this third person, or is this a cutscene, or is it one of those wonderful third persons where you're shooting and all of a sudden the camera decides it's got to piss over to the next room for a little bit and then come back to see you die? I'm worried. Cooperative shooting is a little bit different from, oh shite, I am going to die alone. But then the original Aliens and some of the AVPs did have a multiplayer survival mode, which was actually a hell of a lot of fun, especially if you were sitting close enough to someone to punch them when they did something dumb. So it's interesting. It'll be out this summer. They didn't give an exact date, and well, we all know that release dates have been a little bit flexible this year, but I don't think they'd say it was this close to coming up if it wasn't relatively done at this point. So keep an eye out for it. It might be a hell of a lot of fun. It might be just another knockout of the franchise.
Hey, on the subject of games, what is this about Space Beast?
You'd have to ask Brett, I think.
I added this because this is actually sort of not exactly Aliens Fireteam, because it looks like those guys actually have a license to the IP. But these guys, back in 2015, started to put together a game called, funnily enough, Space Beast Terror Fright. And if you watch a couple of these games, it actually captures a lot of the horror confined elements of Alien and Aliens and uses very similar sound scape, very similar audio cues from the movies. Not quite a ripoff, but very similar aspects to it, very lit in such similar ways.
So a
remote
pastiche,
sentry guns. Yes.
as it
yes. And I've watched it. This isn't exactly the gameplay as it is now because they've been updating it. It's available on Steam, early access title. I put the Steam link in there as the second element in there, but it's co-op, obviously multiplayer. There's a strategy element to it as well, and it's kind of like maybe the Colonial Marines that you maybe wanted to play but never really got a chance to play. It's not quite IP. Married to the Aliens IP, but it captures the horror, frenetic, scary run and gun elements that were done so well in the Aliens movies. So if you're sort of jonesing for this type of game and want to capture this gameplay style before this Fireteam thing comes out, this thing looks like it serves that up on a silver platter. And for $15, I don't know how you can go wrong.
Yeah, $15 is not bad, but I got to be honest.
Yeah, check that link on Steam.
I miss being the alien. That was just so utterly fun. I was watching, I don't even know how I stumbled into it. It was just one of those YouTube holes you end up in, and they were chatting with some of the developers from the original one, and they said, we didn't realize it until someone had pointed out to us, but if you had the alien on a flat-out run, and you measured how fast, it was literally breaking the sound barrier. And it's true, because when I got good at a map, one thing, everything's the floor. Everything. I don't care. And you just go. So by the time the Marines had spawned, gotten their shite out of their sock, you're already sitting above one, just sort of waiting until everyone looks away, and you just let go, boom, and eat them. And are gone again before they even know what the hell happened. It was a wonderful experience, and it was also a very Aliens experience. So I'm hoping that they bring this back. Yeah, Aerocon Natural Selection's not a bad one, but it's not quite the same. I can't put my tongue through the back of their head and laugh.
Anyway, this one's in constant development, so support the devs if you want to see more of that sort of thing, or wait for Aliens Fireteam and hope for the best. But watch a couple of the playthroughs or the videos on YouTube, and just to get a sense of it. It looks pretty good.
Hey, did you know that Intel has discontinued its overclocking warranty plan, the performance
I think
protection?
the question you want to ask first is, did you know Intel had
I
a
did
warranty?
because I was the
Right.
paranoid person who bought my 2600K. Was that Sandy Bridge? And I bought this for like $20. And
Yeah,
then
it's 20
later
bucks,
I'm like,
yeah.
why? So I think I actually returned it. I think you could return it within a certain number of days. It's like, I'm not doing anything insane with
And
this.
you hadn't voided the warranty yet?
Apparently not. But no, that
Good.
processor was fine. But
So
you're-
yeah, Intel used to have this warranty if you blew it up.
do you think the timing of this is suggestive at all? They're
I do.
just about
That's
to come
why
out
I
with
Well, they
Well,
don't
it
sell
in,
their
yeah.
cards anymore, so why should they bother?
Well, that's true. We can never forget about those.
No, never
The
forget.
cards to unlock performance. But yeah, I mean, it was. I don't remember exactly how much it was. I thought it was like $25. And then if you register it, you have a single CPU attached to this, and if you kill it trying to overclock it, overvolt it, I'm assuming is how you'd actually do it, then they'll replace it.
Or thermal,
I don't know, but
However you
there
got
are
there.
protections built into CPUs. I don't think thermals would even.
Oh,
You can
yes,
boot up
yeah,
the
They don't
yeah,
catch on
CPU
fire.
without
Yes,
a
you're right.
cooler, and it'll just
Yeah.
shut itself off.
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So
Or at least run at like 0.2 gigahertz.
yeah.
Got a machine today that was doing that.
So yeah, I
it's a
think the
wonderful
timing is
quote.
somewhat suspicious.
Okay. They claim, according to Tom's Hardware, that it is seeing lower demand for the plan. Did it ever see demand at all for the plan? I'm sure
I think it's seeing
very few people even
lower
knew it
demand.
existed.
Lower demand for their CPUs. I think that's what they meant to say, right?
I don't know.
Was that it?
They
No.
clawed a little bit of market share back that last quarter, I thought, but just that's an availability issue for AMD. We're talking
I know one
DIY
person
though.
who actually
Overall-
had-
What's that, Josh?
I think I knew actually one person who had that, and actually they made good on it because they fried their CPU. I think it was Keith from WCCF Tech.
Oh, really? Okay.
Could have
He
been.
actually bought that, and he was going crazy with it and fried it and had the overclocking insurance and got a new CPU. So, I mean, there are a handful of people who probably did it. I mean, if you're
Did
really
Maury
into
do that when he
overclocking-
delit
No, I
it
don't
and cracked
think
it?
he did. No,
Oh,
no,
he didn't
because
I think probably
deliting-
void the warranty.
that voids the warranty.
It just fell off, man. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get it. I
I had a
pulled it so
device and I
hard
was
that
hitting- I was
the
tapping- just
adhesive just
tapping it.
came off.
With the
Just a
hammer.
tappity tap.
Okay.
Crack.
Well, it is what it is. I don't think it was that popular to begin with, but it's gone now. Just in time for 11th gen to come out.
Now, speaking of reliability,
Yes. Great segue.
and yep,
Does this
when
surprise
you
anyone, by
absolutely-
the way? This is, I mean, are
I
this
think
just
it
millennials who are
might.
surprised? They're like, what? The latest
think
and
so.
greatest tech isn't it? No, it's what's hardened. It's what actually works. You don't need the latest and greatest smartphone or
know,
anything else. You just need it to work.
when
'Cause,
when your
yeah,
computer needs to
Mars
wake
is-
up every day. Yeah, go ahead, Josh.
Mars is highly radioactive, and if you don't have hardened components, your mission is going to be very, very, very short. And so these are thick, big chips that they can absorb some radiation and some, gamma particles and whatnot, and not flip bits easily.
Not get accidentally flashed?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want that because you want this thing to last for years on a very unhealthy planet for
Hostile.
electronics, not to mention organic
About everything.
materials. Yeah, Yeah, I mean it doesn't have a magnetosphere to speak about because the core stopped
hang gliding's hard.
rotating. Yeah, but they got a helicopter, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't
I'll
it?
be curious. Yeah, well they haven't launched it yet, but it's going to be interesting to see.
For the audio listeners in the crowd, this is a PowerPC 750 that was used in the late 90s era iMac G3, hence came the sort of tongue-in-cheek reference to, is there an iMac on Mars? Not really. You know, it's just the CPU that was in the 90s and early 2000s G3 Macs or iMacs. And yeah, as Josh was saying, it takes a solar flare and keeps on ticking. That was the point. It wakes up every day and does its 233 megahertz best.
That was the
Which is
base,
exactly
wasn't it?
what you want.
233 was the lowest speed.
I don't think they're
G3.
overclocking it.
No.
Yeah, they're probably keeping it in spec.
Okay. Well,
And that's the newest lander that just landed.
yes,
That was
that's
Perseverance.
the Perseverance, yes. So even the latest and greatest, because this is the processor they use in satellites, right? It's in, I think I read like
I think
100
so.
satellites, and it's never
Yeah.
failed.
Yeah,
So why wouldn't
and
you?
it has never missed a beat or bit, either one.
It's too slow to miss a bit. I mean, how could it? It takes a solar day to flip.
Hey,
a
there's
coin.
still there's still 6 million transistors in there, man. 6 million.
Each bit is like, a rotation of the Earth.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is it's like 2.3 to 2.8 volts. So even if you get some stray electrons in there, it's going to just shrug it off. It's like,
Yeah,
hey, welcome
2
to the
volts,
tsunami. Yeah,
You'd think, just throw an ARM processor up there. It would consume nothing. Look, you can't.
No, they're not quite as hardened.
Yeah, but then
know, That's a good point Josh has. When your true voltage is so far above the spurious voltage floor, you're like, just ignore that noise. But
Yeah.
an ARM processor operating at such low voltage, spurious electrons could be like, oh, is that a bit?
It's more sensitive.
Yep.
PowerPC
that makes
is
a good point.
calloused and not as sensitive anymore. Intel DG2 GPU. Now I know they had said 2021.
They did.
This is 2021, 2021, however you want to say
I
it.
believe you are correct.
Is it actually going to happen? What does Raja say on Twitter? I have not seen this. This is via Guru 3D here. Lots to look forward to this year.
Will arrive.
Okay. I mean, that's what they're inferring from that. It would arrive in 2 models, one with 4096 shaders. That's 512 CUs. 8 gigs of GDDR6. That's exciting. 8 gigabytes. I've been told that's not enough. And the other with
It's barely enough.
1024 shaders and only 6. Oh, gross. 6 gigabytes. You can't do anything with that. Except game at 1440 in most titles, but
Yeah.
I guess that's
Depends on your texture pack.
exactly. I mean, if the oldest game I currently use, I think, is Far Cry 5, and Far Cry 5 with the Ultra HD textures loaded at 4K Ultra uses like 5.84 gigabytes of VRAM.
There were some folks in the YouTube chat talking about ARC, ARK.
Yeah, but you're picking one game that uses a spectacular amount of VRAM. In general,
And
most games use between 4 and 8, even
Sure.
up to 4K. You can really push it. I mean, we were trying to push it when the Radeon 7 came out. And AMD's official stance back then, we had Scott Wasson explaining to us how to do like the super sampling stuff. Like render it off screen at 8K and then downsample out to a 4K display, and you'll get 12 gigabytes of VRAM usage in such and such a game. Like, okay. And I tried this myself, and I was brilliant. I used Shadow of the Tomb Raider at 4K, no, 8K high, I think. I was getting 2 frames per second, but I was using that much VRAM. So at some point, you need more GPU horsepower before you need that much VRAM.
Right.
That was the problem with the Radeon 7. Although, of course, having a wonderful second life as the second highest rated mining card as far as raw performance. I think maybe third highest. I don't know.
Good for it.
Yeah, good for Radeon 7 owners.
Josh, how much does Flight Sim use? I mean, for reals.
Oh yeah, that's true. That
Fair
that
chunk.
is another one.
Oh, he's muted.
Don't
He's
tell
got
him.
he's caught the mute.
Sorry, I was clearing my throat earlier, and it was unpleasant in the extreme. But yeah, no, 8 to 11 gigs, depending on where you're at and what you're doing. So I imagine you can push that up higher, depending on other settings. But yeah, it's
I keep meaning to look because Warhammer seems to chew up a shite load.
I think the ultimate yardstick is just stuttering. Because if you run out of VRAM and you start swapping
Yep.
system RAM, you're going to get noticeable
You
stuttering.
could notice.
So, yeah, I mean,
unless you've got that sideband addressing. That's a joke because that's
Sad.
AGP.
sad.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Sideband. Oh,
No,
yeah.
you got to raise the bar now.
No, we
Oh,
got to resize the bar.
No, you've got to lay in rebar.
How
what is that, the
effective
super
was
pipe?
it to increase...
It's a super pipe.
What was the AGP? There was that memory window you had to set in the BIOS. I cannot remember what it was called.
Oh gosh, yeah, you're right.
The AGP, it
Oh,
was like
that's a ways
64
back.
megabytes by default on a lot of boards, but you could increase it to like 256,
Yeah.
I think.
The 8-bit
Gart.
boards had a resizable one.
Gert.
Gart?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think North Ranger's right. Yeah, graphics aperture
addressable.
resource table.
S aperture, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the aperture was what
That's
you.
it.
Yeah.
I thought it was just
Oh,
art
that's a ways
sometimes,
back.
but yeah.
Hey, speaking of graphics
Wait, so am I supposed to
apertures,
match my AGP to my front side bus, or
Hey, that
With
was the
them
one thing
running
that we kind of missed. Is that they're doing resizable bar on the Ryzen 3000 series.
yes,
true.
forgot to mention
Oh,
that. That was in the
gosh, yes,
presentation
yep.
Today. It's been
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
I mean, hell,
Yeah.
even Nvidia says they're going to do it now.
It's part of the spec, so why wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, it's I guess it was addended. It was an addendum to PCIe 2.0, but it wasn't really implemented. However, it was a base thing on PCIe 3.0, and so pretty much in theory, every PCIe 3.0 CPU would support it. But I doubt AMD is going to go back and enable that in AGESA and BIOS for the 2000 series. But the amount of 3000 processors that are still being sold and still being used, it makes more sense to enable that functionality in them, and they have the space in AGESA to do it because
Yeah.
there's still a modern processor that they're selling a lot of.
3600 is consistently one of the top selling. Every time I go to
Oh,
Newegg,
hell yeah.
R5 3600, bestseller.
For $195,
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean,
always on sale.
it's into that good enough range. I think my next build, I'm gonna do I have a case review I need to get done, and like, why not just go R5 3600? I think I have a 3600X though, and then a graphics card you can actually find, which is going to be tough.
So a GT 1030?
I don't have
1030,
one of
man.
those.
GT 710.
I have a.
I'm gonna be using my
1050
GT 710.
Ti. I have a
No.
980. I didn't take anything older than 980 from the old office. I should have, because then I could be,
I know.
retesting like, hey, gaming on a 780 Ti in 2021.
I've got a GeForce 5700 XT somewhere around
How much
here.
memory does that have? Like 512 megabytes?
Not even. It's like
880 GTS over
128
there.
megs.
Yeah.
128. Yeah, I think it may even be 64 meg.
Ooh. Okay.
So wait, no, I think it's 128 because it's half of a 5900, which was 256 megs that I'm looking at right now.
My first
DirectX
NVIDIA
9,
card,
man.
I had a G4. I had a budget one. It was a
GeForce FX.
4 MX 440 with 64 megabytes
I
of memory.
think I've got one still kicking around here somewhere for some reason.
I'm looking at the MX right now. A Vision Tech 1.
Oh, okay.
pre BFG.
Mine was PNY, Verto. Okay.
If you want
Josh,
to get really weird, there's a 6800
Me.
GS over there. So
it's
that's just weird memory.
It's time for pick of the week. That
Well,
look
we
again.
all-
I had one.
Look
one
again.
person added.
He
a pick.
Look again.
started it.
Oh wait, no.
So we
pick-
had
sneaky.
pick-
He started
of the
it.
week.
Sneaky.
Okay, hold on.
He
I'm just
did.
gonna see.
Blame
What?
him.
Now Jeremy and Brett have one too. Okay, Josh starts. as is
Oh, who
tradition.
doesn't have one again?
Me. I'm too
Jeez,
busy
I don't
running the
know.
show to worry about picks. All right, Josh, you have the primary camera now.
La di da.
All right.
Yes.
I've got to try this Valheim. It's only 1999. It's survival type thing of Ark and Minecraft. But apparently
But the seas are made of trampoline.
sure.
Have you not
but
seen
anyway.
that?
No, not yet. But I'm gonna have to because it's apparently quite fun. Friends of mine have servers already, and they just are having a heck of a time. So, for that much money, it's not a whole lot out of your wallet. Give it a go. Maybe you'll like it. $20. You're muted.
It's the same price as an Intel warranty. So I mean, you can buy one.
You
or
can't
the
get
other.
those anymore though.
Oh, so you
So
got to
might
buy
as
this
well
game.
get this.
Yeah. There you
My
go. Yep,
my
it's an easy
muted
choice.
comment was that on my end, that was just a still frame of a bird, and I'm hoping everybody actually saw the video playing.
It moved.
Yeah,
It
it
moved.
Did
It was
move.
fine.
Okay, good. It was just on
Yeah.
my end. All
Yeah.
right, good. Jeremy. Uh-oh.
Well, I found the little video about the. I think you should play this. It is quite amusing,
Uh-oh.
and also
Wait,
shows what you can do in Valheim.
Hold on. Did you just add another pick?
No, but I threw it in public. But theirs isn't staffed to.
Oh, okay.
No, this is for
Hold on.
Josh.
Okay. All right, Jeremy, your pick.
Oh, here it is.
I had it pulled up.
So, you're frustrated because you can't find an AMD product, and you really want to build a new system. Well, I've got good news for you right now, and this is the Canuckistan version. But the i9 1090K is $200 off. It's $600. It's not a damn bad deal. It is a good processor, and you can find a decent bargain on the motherboard right now. And the key is it's in stock. You can buy the damn thing. So if you are looking at holding out forever to be able to pick up a new Ryzen, I mean, so be it. Do that. But if you're kind of hoping that you can get something put together in the near future, Comet Lake is a decent choice. And if you can't quite spend
Did you really
that much,
Did you really just say if you're holding out for Ryzen, buy Intel? Did you really just say that? Just
because you're going to be waiting a while for that Ryzen processor. I lucked out. I got mine, but that was a lot of work and quite expensive. And I mean, hell, for $440 you can get the 10700. So it's decent. It's available.
And in the U.S.,
That's the key.
it's $469, which for a 10-core, $469 is not bad. That's
I'll still get a better deal up here.
yeah. It's
and if you go to
very-
everybody's favorite store, Micro Center,
it's even cheaper, isn't it?
it's even cheaper.
Well, you
The thing
can't do
is-
that up here.
Here's a crucial facet, if that's the right word, to this discussion. AMD like holding out. Intel has a big advantage here because Ryzen, other than the Ryzen with Radeon graphics, they don't have integrated graphics. You have to have a GPU. You can't buy GPUs right now unless you get something like
That's
a
the
1030.
reason not to get the KF. Get the
Right,
K.
so get the 10900K. It's got those sweet UHD graphics that you just can't get enough of. It will display a picture on a monitor,
It will.
and
It'll refresh it occasionally too.
at 60 times per second, I've heard. That resolution's up to 4K, though I'm not sure if it does 4K 60. It might do 4K 60, but hey, and that was what I was noticing with those Dell systems I mentioned earlier. They're just using
Yeah.
the HD 630 graphics on these 10th gen Intel processors because they're like, we're not putting a video card in
crazy.
this. It's $1,000 PC. You don't need a video card.
Well, and
Nah,
they couldn't get
whatever.
someone to modify it for a stupid ass Dell PCIe connector.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Proprietary PSUs are my issue there, but
Yes.
Yes.
let's see. Brett.
But I mean, like, if you luck out like me with the 5800X, it's good on you, but you're gonna be working.
I know, but the 5800X feels like a bad buy to me. I was at Newegg when I was doing the Threadripper Pro story. 5800X was in stock, but it's $449, and I'm just looking at that and the 5900X. Like, I'd get the 5900X.
Wait,
Like,
$449 isn't that MSRP?
Yeah, it was selling for list price.
Yeah.
1500?
It was.
Okay, yeah.
But
But
it's
still,
just-
it's 8-core 16-thread for that much money, and
Right,
you
I
can
would
get a 3900X for not a whole lot more.
no, or get
Josh,
the
you can get a 10
10900K.
you can get a 10700K for $279, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, 8-core Intel
Yeah.
is cheaper right now.
Yeah.
Which is
Go figure.
816, same.
Okay,
I mean,
what?
Thread-
I wanted
Thread-
the same thing as my Threadripper 1900, just a new generation.
Brett, please enlighten
I put
us
in-
on some exciting UPS
Look,
battery
it's
upgrades.
boring. It's boring, man. But when you actually have to like have a whole bunch of UPSs in your place, office, house, whatever, and you're tired of replacing them every 10, 12, 13 months or something like that because you're buying cheap crap, actually probably break down and finally buy good batteries that aren't really nasty, remade, potentially imported from a country that's not doing a good job at it. These guys are Canadian. I've been using their sets of batteries here for a little while, and they're a little bit more
know our
money.
batteries.
And yeah, you guys do, and hopefully, and you also mine it up there as well. Some of the raw earth materials that actually go
Yep.
into making these sorts of things. So my hope is that these are going to way outlast some of the ones that I paid $10 or $20 less each for over a period of time, and they are some of the highest quality shipped batteries I've ever had. I just recently did a few here a little while ago and just got them in, and I'm like, wow, I'm just really impressed. Outside, the casing and stuff looks the same, but the way they shipped them was amazing. The warranty is for real, and they're here in North America, so a little bit more money, but it looks like they know what they're doing. So if you hate replacing your batteries, actually spend the money and buy good ones.
Price
That's
looks
my
good
PSA
too.
for today.
$60 for.
And hey, if you want it to run at negative 40, it will.
it's like a car.
Yeah,
battery.
I mean, I paid $49 a piece for a pair that went into an APC 1000. I have or 1500. I upsized the ones in 1000 to take the 1500 batteries. You got to take a bar out, then you can put in the larger batteries.
Does the firmware in the device complain about this, or does it just see it as a bigger?
It did
capacity?
not. It just it's still. I put a meter in it as well, so it still charges it at just what I would consider the right voltage. So 27.5, 27.4 volts. So that seems right.
Don't use the supercharge on those.
No, don't.
To
no.
get mad.
No,
At
they
some
get a little
point, when
bulbous.
you just buy the 15, you buy the 1000, then you put in a meter and 2 bigger batteries. And
I have both. I have a
tape it
15 and
all
a
together with
1000.
duct tape.
I did that. How did you know it had duct tape on it? It's black though. It's very tasteful.
Mm-hmm.
It's black duct tape. It's electrical tape, but
Yeah.
it's
Well, I
fine.
think that's it.
It'll be fine.
We're out of picks because I didn't have one.
That's awesome.
that
makes
we're
me
done
happy.
in like an hour and 20 minutes.
Bam. It's because there was no review this week.
Yeah, it's true. I didn't finish putting in Kent's review that's coming before the end of the week. I got to put that in. He's got a thermal take case review. And I've got a couple things that I need to finish writing up. But hey,
Oh,
it was
man.
a-
Thermal take. The people that design those cases, they're like mad lunatics. That's all I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, tune in again next week, or refresh your podcatcher next week for more just like this. Well, not exactly like this, but
But different.
in the weeks to follow, you'll be delighted by what you hear and see. Hundreds of you will also see it as well. Thanks.
Good night.
Tens of hundreds of people. I think our viewership on the podcast has dropped to below 2,000 per episode now. But hey, we're not really a YouTube channel. We'd have to sort of shift focus more.
Yeah, kind of that. Yeah.
Thanks.
I told you, Jordan would have too much fun if we started showing extra pictures of me.
Yeah, I was Soren posted this lovely image. It was like behind the scenes of PC Per. It was like
What did he do?
it was still
Thankfully, I
images
missed
like
this.
when Jeremy went to like reach for something behind him, and you could see his backside, and like Josh getting up to go get like a beer, and you could see his backside. So it's like he had a compilation of these he put together in chat.
We could have been plumbers.
Yeah. Well,
I
Was this recent? I didn't
seen
see
that.
it was. I think it was within the last 24 hours. This is what you're missing by not being on our Discord channel.
Oh my gosh, I didn't see it. I gotta go look at that.
I wish somebody would do that because I usually wear my shirt untucked so I don't have any.
There was no
crack.
visible skin from Josh. Jeremy,
Oh.
Jeremy, on the other hand, was showing a
But
little
Jeremy,
bit more.
I think I remember this.
Yeah. Oh, it was August. It was freaking hot in here. I think I had barely any shorts on.
Yep.
Hey, don't worry,
I'd be
PC
wearing
Land Party.
pants.
We do this so that you can watch it if you want to, but this is really just a podcast recording session. It's not really a show.
Unless you tell a
Juiced
whole
it
bunch of
more.
people and then it becomes a show again.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Josh
Now,
did a video
I
card
admit-
review a while back, and it got like 10,000 views. People care
Yes.
about Josh reviews. We need to get more of those on the channel.
If we sat down and did a few more of those sorts of things, there would be more viewers.
There would be,
But that's
and
a lot of
it's
work.
unfortunate because, yeah, I suck.
No, you don't. Don't say
No,
that.
you're fine.
It's been
You
a
don't.
hard
I
year,
mean,
but thanks.
Man, I'm
I'll
so
use that
tired.
as
I'm scrolling
excuse.
backwards. All I can find is Jordan wearing sweatpants and sweatsuits.
I think it was before
That's gross.
that.
Oh, that's
Search
just
by
not
user.
something
It
you
was
want
from
to...
Soren. He posted it.
Yo, I've got all the work done in this. Just need to write it up and then get it posted. Content. Just need a couple hours to be able to sit down.
I agree with Razor 2048. Just have the cat co-host. Sit down with your
Yeah.
cat. Talk to your cat
Yeah,
about it. Don't even do any prep. Just have a conversation with your cat about the product, and I'll just edit in some photos of it.
Programmers
Gosh,
use
maybe-
ducks and hardware reviewers use cats.
Yeah, cats are
Okay,
Actually, does
popular
make
in the
sense,
hardware
doesn't it?
community.
Yeah, I saw this picture, and you know what? I wasn't even sure who it was. Okay, I recognize it now.
But you recognize that?
You have a link?
Yeah,
there?
I gotta see
this.
I saw it.
Opening up Discord so I can add this to our live event here. Now, of course, I have to find it. Oh, brother.
Oh, I should have grabbed it for you when
it's
I had it.
I'm in the wrong...
Why wouldn't you do such a thing, Brent?
I
Brent.
don't know, and there's no N in my name.
Brett.
Still.
Because he didn't want to play grab ass?
Well, you know,
I've
you said
scrolled
Brent Van
away quickly.
Spruenberg sounds better than Brett Van Spruenberg. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
what
it
kind
just
of a name
it's
is
just
Brett,
I was-
anyway?
It was my mom's naming me after Brett Maverick.
Brett Maverick.
Wow.
Before my time.
Not Brett the
I know.
Hitman
done for
Hart?
hire.
Not Brett the Hitman Hart. Josh would know who I was
disappointing.
talking about.
Yeah, I know who you're
Yeah,
talking about.
done for hire. Yeah.
Oh, you too, Jeremy.
I mean, Garner did. That was Garner back in the day.
It was.
Then he
It was
reprised
Garner,
with
yeah.
Mel Gibson.
It was Garner. Yeah, it was Garner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gibson did the movie much later.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was shite. But, I mean, it was Mel Gibson, so do you want?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't
Where-
mind. It's fun.
I can't find this image.
I'll find it for you. I'll get
Oh.
it. I'll post it in the staff picture. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Thank
I'll
you.
run-
I'm just
recognize it
shocked
again.
that Soren isn't around to...
It's very
Make it even
important
worse.
to do this.
Oh, I'm sure that he could. He has a strange talent for that sort of thing.
He does.
He is gifted.
It's a very particular set of skills.
Using Twitch.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, we used Twitch in the past, and I think you can set up. I know that you can set up a service to simultaneously stream to both. I don't know what Jim was using to do that originally, because the way I have it set up here, I'm just streaming directly from vMix Pro to YouTube. But and we have a Twitch channel. I have fiber, like a gigabit up, so we could easily stream to multiple services at the same time. But I don't have it set up to do that.
There you go. I just dropped it in the staff channel.
Did you?
Oh
Okay.
Lord, there it is. Good
Finally.
grief.
Okay, here we go.
Oh,
That's
Okay.
damn it, Soren.
It's
At
least
all
I'm
of
most
that
sentences.
for this. All of that.
I know.
build up.
All that for a little bit of butt show.
Yep, just
You know what? A
butt
lot of
.png
sentences.
and butt2.png. I like how he
A lot of sentences
archives
start
these.
with- Damn it, store. He did say that. He says, this just
Yeah.
goes in my junk drawer where I just archive like future material.
Right.
well, I mean, it's
Right.
junk in his trunk.
Sure, that's bad. Why didn't anybody tell me I'm that fat? Come on.
It's the lens,
wide
the
angle
camera lens. It adds
Yeah, it's the
10
lens.
pounds.
Maybe 20.
Yeah, I actually look thinner to myself, in the mirror in certain lighting. But my face to me looks really fat on camera.
Yeah,
PHAT, pretty hot and tender. So yes, you are correct.
Mine, I look a little smoother tonight.
Yeah, you do. That's right. We forgot to talk about your facial hair situation, Brett. The
I had a
goatee is
situation.
gone. It's just
I-
Did
I
you
have
light it
more
on fire?
down here than
I
you
left
do
the
now.
soul patch there, but yeah, I had an incident with the. You know what? This will look fine, and then I just started doing a little trim, and then I'm like, oh no! Then I started doing some more trim. I started doing more trim,
Well,
and then
it's a
I
bad-
lost
it's a
control.
bad road to go down.
I did, and then it just had to be like, you have to cut. I came downstairs a couple times going like, how about this? And it was just like, no, don't, no.
Did you at some
then I-
point just have like
See,
a
the
patch
problem
going
is
down
that
the
there's no
middle, or-
over provisioning on your beard. So if you trim
No.
too much, you
I did. Yeah, it's like an SSD with no over provisioning. So yeah, I came back a little too much trim, and I came downstairs a couple times with like, hey, how about this? Get a second opinion, and it was like, no, bad, no, go away. So then I ended up with this.
Hey, North Ranger, is
Which
the
is
string
gone.
cheese incident that you mentioned, is that a reference to the band? String cheese incident? Actually, oddly enough, the nickname of my wife's former dog.
String cheese.
was the string cheese
Well,
accident.
one of his many nicknames was the string cheese incident, yes. He got
Was
a
he
little
the bit of
overly
the tinsel?
excited if you ever had string cheese, if you know what I mean. He would get very
He would start
aroused
humping your leg.
at the string cheese, yes.
That's not the same.
The red rocket comes out and you
Yeah.
had to run.
Which is really disturbing.
That's
I had not had
definitely-
a male dog before.
I mean,
but
I
met her,
love
she had this dog,
cheese.
but
That is definitely not the same thing.
no, he liked it a lot. He liked the cheese a
Yeah.
lot. Just looking at it. It wasn't even like he was like grabbing it or doing anything to it. If you just had a thing of string cheese out of the fridge, he would be getting aroused. And making a high-pitched whining sound and like getting all hot and bothered.
Like Josh is there.
What are you gonna do with that? What are you gonna do with that string cheese? You gonna put it in your mouth? You gonna pour stripping it off? You're gonna bite it?
you got your own bubbly in there with the rocket.
Yeah.
You got to get really close to the camera when you do that too, because
But-
what are you gonna do with that string cheese?
His name was, well, actually, he still lives, but we had to find a different home for him. His name is Bonsai, and he lives with our friend now, who didn't have any animals, well, other than cats.
On a farm.
No, he's.
I hope he has string
Out north.
cheese.
We had 3 dogs and had just brought a child into the world, and it was like, this is insane.
This is too much.
My house is 780 square feet. I've got 3 dogs and a kid. I mean, it's plus Bonsai, food thief. Like it didn't matter. It was 2 seconds. Like I'll just set this on the table for 2 seconds. It'll be fine. Just go get a drink out of the fridge. Gone. Your entire plate of food gone. Bring McDonald's home. The entire bag empty. You
Well, at least you
swallow
didn't
it
eat the
whole.
bag.
Yeah, our latest puppy, the blue healer, she is so
Oh.
food motivated.
Yes.
It's not even funny. I've never had a dog that has been this motivated about food, and it just
And the problem with the brew
She
healers
doesn't
is that
chew.
they're also smart.
they're very
They
smart,
can get
very
into
energetic.
places.
Yeah, no, we've really had to lock things down, and you got to watch everything. So
I don't like living in fear of my animal all the time. I didn't realize how much stress I was under all the time until Bonsai went away, and it was just like I
Yeah.
can set
Oh, this is
something
much better.
down now
Oh wow.
without being in fear.
Yeah, but you got a kid
No
now,
fear.
so
Oh, now, yeah,
That's-
exactly.
yeah, it's
Hang on pins and needles for the next 18 years, if not more.
I go downstairs for just a minute and come back upstairs, and it's like Sharpie marker all over everything. Like, where did you even find this? And it's like, he can climb and get into drawers, and
He considered Valium.
Doesn't get
Not
any
for you.
better.
no, it doesn't get any better.
In fact,
That's what I've heard.
The consequences
Now
of
it
their
just gets
actions
different.
just become larger and larger.
And then they start to drive.
I was doing tax stuff the other day, and I made the mistake of leaving the paperwork out on the table.
Oh.
Or it was
Oh.
actually on a shelf, but he took it off of the shelf, had it all over the table, and was writing on every single sheet. Just
Did he
scribbling
find you
in
more
very-
directions?
Very helpful.
Thank you,
You know,
so much.
Thank you, small child. Thank you, fruit of my
Sometimes.
loins.
It's exactly.
It's a
what
damn
we
good
needed.
thing I can mark you as dependent on these tax sheets,
Yeah.
'cause
But it's not
otherwise,
enough. It's not enough.
It's not enough.
The deduction isn't enough to make up for it.
To compensate.
Okay.
Oh, well.
Do we have anything else?
We
Can
should.
No,
We should
I'm
put up a
gonna
daily
do that.
wildlife
God.
stream.
No. I don't have any wildlife worth watching here, but maybe somebody else
I got
does.
2 kittens that do insane things.
There you go. Just have
Josh,
your,
you gonna
when
you
you're
gonna
at
grow
work,
tomatoes again this year?
Yeah.
Hey, tomato cam, 24 hours a day.
No.
Mm.
No, but we'll do tomato updates.
Okay, good.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Only if the plant can be brought to the camera. You know, in like a big.
I'm
Urn
going
or
to keep it
bucket.
up that way. We've got a few more things that we're going to do to try to get a little bit better harvest. So,
All right.
but no, the tomatoes that still came off of it wasn't that many, but they were really good.
And the reason why, and I asked you this one time, Josh, the reason why you have to keep them in a bucket like that is to bring them in so they don't get frosted over in July, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
June,
sad.
July.
It gets cold here in Laramie at night, even in the summer.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you got to keep them a little bit better temperature than what you can get here. It's not like, you're down south where it doesn't dip below 82 degrees. At night, it gets into the 50s and 40s here in the middle of summer at night.
That'll put a hurting on a grown plant.
It
Mhm.
will.
All right, gentlemen, I think it's time to end the stream and go to bed. My son is
Sure.
upset
Sounds good.
also that it's daylight savings time is already, like the spring forward has already happened. I don't know how. that's
Not
coming.
quite. Next
Maybe
week.
this be the last year.
He's up at 6:45, 7 a.m. every day now. So am
That's
I.
miserable.
I exist on coffee and snack food at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Toilet Bug. Yes. Time to take the stream down.
mhm.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Thanks all.
Enjoy.